Alright, and we are now live. I'm going to set the chat to live chat so I hopefully don't miss anybody's messages here. Got the Go train on, the F unit by Athern, and some Bombardier bi-level cars. GDM, welcome. Pink Salmon, hello. A whole bunch of people joining in. Epic Locomotives, welcome to the live stream. Railfan Oliver, hello. Noodles YT, Northwest Railfan. Burlington Railfan. Yes, trains, always trains. I don't know if I've seen that account in here before. Welcome to the live stream. Train Master. Random Rails, how's it going? Pretty well, I can't complain. It's funny that you're going live tonight. I was actually figuring out live streaming as model trains as well. Nice. First time on a live stream in a while. Xander Nicole, hello. Hey SMT, how are the kids? I don't have any children. Hello from Michigan, welcome. Oh, look who it is. It's the cat. It's the first time I think he's been on a live stream in a while. Usually he's upstairs sleeping or something like that, but yeah, every once in a while I think he likes to make a cameo. He's so popular, we actually have Nerf cat branded mugs. Does the cat jump on the layout? Yeah, he sure does. There's a video of him walking around on it. David Z2G, welcome. Harrison, my cat's a spitting image of Nerf cat. Not the first person I've heard that from. I guess Russian blues all look pretty similar. Hey, SMT, can you run the Go train backwards so it looks like it's big? Yeah, we can run it backwards. Hopefully nothing will derail. This is really going to test my track work here. Uh-oh. Alright, so we've had a little derailment here. I think I'm just going to try to run the train forward and hopefully the switch will re-rail it, which I think it did. So we'll try to continue going backwards here. It might just do the same thing though. Nope, made it through that time. Alright. Rapid Transit fan, how's it going? Not bad, how are you? They're buckling. Alright, 2 times in a row, it's made it through. Hey SMD, I have a vintage Tyco steam locomotive that has a motor issue and I don't know what to do. If you want to send an email to scrumptiousmodeltrains@gmail.com, I'd be happy to give you any advice you need. Hi from Como, Italy. Welcome. Como, Italy is pretty cool. I believe that's where Riverossi originated. You played Train Simulator. I haven't in quite a while. My favorite's Microsoft Train Simulator. Certainly doesn't have the best graphics anymore, but yeah, I've tried them all. Trains with a Z is pretty fun. And of course you got Railworks. Hello from Vancouver. Oh, we got somebody from the other end of the country. Welcome. So it looks like running the Go cars backwards didn't end so well, so I think we'll switch it out for something else. So the first request I see for anything, just as long as it runs, we'll run it. What's your favorite brand of HO scale trains? Well, I've said it before, I don't really have one specific brand, which is my favorite. Like, it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about, like, used locomotives, it's probably Austrian Blue Box, because you can buy them pretty cheap, and they're, you know, they're tanks. You can't break those. They last forever. So those are good. For kind of like a good mid-range brand, it's probably Kato. I find their quality is pretty good for the money. And for full-blown high-end stuff, it's Rapido. What's your favorite brand, Nerf Cat? Hello from Milwaukee. Welcome. Favorite steam engine? The HCW's 909 or the Hiawatha? Let's get these cars off the main line here, and then we can run some other pieces of equipment. Southern Pacific locomotive. All right, what Southern Pacific engine does everybody want? Other than the Daylight, because that one doesn't run. SMT, I have an idea for your channel. Oh, well, tell me about it. Hey, SMT, do you know where to get a -9 detail kit with the plow? Because I'm looking for one for my Austrian Blue Box SP-9. Not other than eBay. Yeah, I'm not so sure. Of course, you could always just go to a train store and see. Sometimes they have a bin of parts, so there's always a chance you might be able to find something there. What's Nerf Cat's favorite railroad? I have no idea. Camelback, please. All right, well, we're going to run the camelback. I know there were some requests before that, but those were just for railroads in general. So we'll just pick a camelback because it's a little more specific. Can you run a sea liner? Sure. We'll run the camelback first, though. There it is. Might be able to find some freight cars for this thing to pull along to. That could be nice. Run your Lionel stuff. What's your oldest train? It might be the Hiawatha. This was built in 1951, but I have some other pieces of equipment which could be older. It's possible this was made in the 40s, but I'm not 100% sure about that. David Z to G scale. How's about running a mixed freight? All right. Got some cars going here. Looks like I forgot to clear off a couple of the go cars. Oops. Oh, well, we'll just let the train push those back around. If it can do such a thing. Maybe not. I don't know. It's funny. I got stuck for a while, and then it just managed to get going under its own power again. That doesn't happen very often. How's the Hershey factory? I think things are not looking too bad. It's still got a ways to go. I have to finish the back of the factory, just small details, and just add some sort of material to this side to complete it. But I'm pretty happy at this point with how it's working. Now let's get these off the main line. We'll get some freight cars on here. Run the big boy. I mean, we can run the big boy. I think we'll wait a little later, though, because that tends to be a pretty popular request. So if we run it in the beginning of the live stream, there's probably going to be a lot of people later saying, run the big boy. try to run a bunch of different things instead of just running the same locomotive over and over again. It's the name of the green and white passenger train. It's Go Rail, I think. Maybe just Go Transit, I don't know. Most people just call it the Go Train. But these Bombardier bi-level cars are pretty common throughout North America. I think there are railroads in Texas that use these and all sorts of other places. Greetings from Maine. Good old Maine. Welcome to the live stream. Controller Packers, hey, how's Nerf Cat? Or hey, it's Nerf Cat, yeah. He seemed a little frustrated earlier, but he's calmed down a bit. Now let's get these cars hooked up here. So the couplers don't seem to be working too well. I don't know if it's the one on the engine or the one on this car here, but I'll try it one more time. And nada. Maybe it's time to run something else. I don't know. What do you plan on doing for the next video? It might be an unboxing. My family was talking about going up to Larkspur tomorrow. We'll see if that happens, but it depends on the weather. Plus, I don't even know if the store is going to be open. So we'll see. Could be a train store tour, could be an unboxing. I got one comment there. Hey SMT, I've been having problems with one of my engines. It's a CN Zebra paint scheme U-boat. Been having problems running. I don't know what it is. It's probably the trucks or something. I don't know. I mean, it's possible it's from any brand, but I'm going to assume the one you have is a Bachmann. Those can have a few different problems. The first one is that the chassis can be prone to zinc pest, where they actually inflate, and that can cause a whole variety of different issues. Hopefully that's not your case. The other big problem the old Bachmanns have is their CAN motors tend to overheat. Sometimes they burn out. But service the commutator. So you can bring them back once in a while. Can you run your Indiana train? Sure. I thought I kept it on this shelf, but I'm sort of thinking it must be here somewhere. Yes, right there. Are you a diesel or steam fan? I'm a fan of both. Can't really choose favorites there. Try to get a good clip of this thing rolling by. Do you like Australian trains? Absolutely. Australia's got some rockin' locomotives. Quite similar to North American ones, but still have their own distinct look. I love Australian trains, especially BHP. Yeah. A huge fan of those B-class engines too, the kind that have a cab on both sides of the engine. I'd really like to get one. Unfortunately, they're quite expensive and not very common out here. So I'll probably have to end up importing one, similar to what I did with the Swedish engine, but it's on my bucket list of engines I want to own. Sparky, welcome to the live stream. How are you? Hey, SMT, my vintage Tyco is an 060 steam locomotive, and when I run it, it starts making a screaming sound, and it's been serviced too. It slows down when it starts screaming. The motor is a side gear. Sounds like a power torque. Try putting some grease in the gears. I don't know. Power torques can be pretty fickle. The lucky thing is that they're so common you can steal parts, so I mean if it continues to give you problems you could just swap the block out with another one and it should work fine. Just start running trains tonight with Ron Pierre. Hey SMT, do you have any Canadian national locomotives? Fair amount of those, yeah. Hey SMT, what's your favorite train scale? It's HO. I really like N scale and O scale, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I find HO is just a nice size, but it all depends. I mean, I understand, like, if you have less space and you want to build a big freight yard, you know, N scale can be better, and O scale engines certainly carry more presence. It's not that I'm trying to bash them. SMT, do you know a good place to get lubricants? I find the cheapest place is hobby shops. I don't know why, but model train lubricants online are very expensive when you factor in shipping. I don't really know what the deal with that is, but yeah, I usually just buy them at one of my 2 local hobby stores. They're not cheap. A little bottle like this will run you about $14. It's probably a little less if you're in the States, but I mean, they're high-end lubricants, so they don't want to cost you, but they last a long time, though. I mean, I bought a tube of grease in 2018. You know, I've serviced countless locomotives, and I'm still going through it, so you know, you spend your $14 once, and it will last you years. I have a life like that keeps stalling. What can I do to fix it? I would probably check out the electrical system, make sure all the soldering joints are good, because sometimes what can happen is you have a piece of solder which cracks, so it still kind of makes contact, but not frequently, and that can cause a bunch of problems. So make sure all your soldering joints are solid, and clean the wheels really well, and make sure you get the wipers too. If I were to take a guess, that's probably where the problems are occurring. How do you have other trains on the track? Well, certain parts of my layout are electrically isolated, so you can see there's actually no rail joiner between this part of track and this part right here, so no power can actually get there. So you can park a bunch of different things on the track, and of course you can wire this up with a switch so you can shut certain sections of track on and off, also known as electrical blocks. But yeah, before DCC existed, this is how all model railroaders would have done things. Pretty smart system in my opinion. Now, a lot of people want the fireless engine. I don't know where it is. Oh, actually, I stand corrected. It's right here. So I guess we'll try to pull some cars with that. Run a BNSF. Yeah, I don't see why not. Let's let this kind of abstract engine do some work. Running my big boy tonight, are you going to be running some steam? Probably so. There that goes. Hey SMT, one quick question. I have a dead steam N-scale locomotive. It had an electrical fire, and when I put it on the track, it just sparks. What do I do with it? I don't know what would have caused such a thing. If it was smoking, it's probably the motor. So if you're lucky, maybe you can replace the motor, but other than that, there's not that much you can do. It could be just be shorted, but yeah, if there's smoke coming out of it, probably where the issue is at. What's your favorite thing at McDonald's? The spicy chicken poutine. That's pretty good. I don't know if they sell those in the States. Doesn't quite seem to have the capacity to pull this around. Ever been to Indiana? Can't say I have. Pet the cat. All right, you live in Canada, right? Yep, sure do. What's the temperature outside? I don't know. I think it's something like -20. That's in Celsius, though. I don't know what that would convert to in Fahrenheit. It's been pretty cold. I really can't wait for the warmer weather. You know, always, if you live in a place like Canada or northern part of the States, you know, in my opinion, it's part of the life up here, so you can't balk at it too much, but I like the summertime more. It's just great being able to go outside, not having to scrape ice off the car, wear 15 layers of clothes just not to freeze. So yeah, I'd be pretty happy whenever the warm weather rolls around. I've got at least another month though. It's -4 Fahrenheit. Well, there you have it, folks. It's not much warmer here in Ohio at the moment. I'm surprised. Being more southern, I would have thought it would be a little better there. Hey, Scrumptious Model Trains. Do you like Walters Proto? I wouldn't say they're the best manufacturer out there, but yeah, I like their products. I haven't had a bad experience. I have Walters engines. One of my first locomotives was actually a Walters. I've had it for 15 years, and you know, it's not the most expensive engine out there, but it's never given me even a bit of trouble. It's been solid, so I can't complain there. I had it when I was a kid too, so you know, definitely had some rough times. It's still kicking. It's this engine right here, as a matter of fact. Why don't we run it? Do you have a Union Pacific 844 locomotive? I can't say I do. It fires right up. Look at this. Hardly pulling any current either. Could you run the Hiawatha? I could run the Fox Valley Hiawatha. Only run this one on occasion. What's the cat's name? His name is Nerf Cat. That's pretty cold. I'll stay here in California where the weather is good. Yeah, I don't know. I have family which goes to Florida for the winter, and I gotta say I'm kind of envious of the warm weather. Nick Smith, thank you so much for the super chat. SMT, do you have any U-boats in your collection that you could run later? I think I do. Let me have a look. I think this is a U-boat, so we'll put that on. In fact, we'll just run it at the same time as we're running this thing. We'll be all right. Can you run the Runaway Train? Oh, heck, I don't see why not. This one maybe needs a wheel cleaning. It's turning a little rough. But this engine is probably over 60, so, and it's got all original parts, so I can't knock it. Somebody wanted me to run this Kool-Aid engine as well, so I'll get that going. I think the Athearn is probably going to end up catching up to it. So there's the U-boat. I have a train which is broken. It hasn't run in 60 years. How do I fix it? Well, I can't pinpoint the exact problem, without having a look at it, but the general rule is you just want to make everything the way it was when it left the factory. So if you open it up and the contacts are dirty, clean them up so they look the way they left the factory. Is the commutator dirty? Clean it up so it looks the way it left the factory. Is the gearbox full of oil and all sorts of other gunk? Get it out of there, put fresh lubricant in it. And provided you have everything clean and well lubricated, it's probably going to run again. Model trains are not complicated things. It's a motor and a couple gearboxes, so I mean things can go wrong, but like I said, follow those rules. Of course, I guess you could argue adjusting things properly is important as well, but less of a concern. So, do you like the P42 DC, and what do you think of one being turned into a cabbage? I'm a huge fan of the P42 DCs. I wasn't aware there were any plans to turn those into cabbages, but if they do, that's not a problem as far as I'm concerned, because if they don't turn them into cab units, they're probably going to scrap them, which I don't want to see happen to the P42s. So if making them unpowered engines what saves them, that's fine. What's cabbage? It's a type of vegetable. No, I'm joking. It's where they knock the motor out of an engine and just leave the cabin controls in it. Amtrak uses one on the Down Eastern. So close to 50K. Yeah, 500 off. We'll see. It's a cab baggage car. Hey SMT, I made a custom SMT mainline train including an ABA set with a few passenger cars in the SMT mainline scheme. I'd love to see a picture of that. Hey SMT, I have a train controller that almost got fire. Any idea of what caused it? I think it was too old. Yeah, you've got to be really careful with the older controllers because many of them don't have breakers. So most likely what happened is something short-circuited and the controller started burning up. Like, for example, you take an old lifelike controller like this or a Tyco or anything sort of like that, and you connect these wires together, you short it, you turn the power up, it's just going to burn away. I've never had one actually catch fire, but I had an old Lionel controller where I wasn't paying attention. It was running around the Christmas tree, and I smelled this weird smell, and it turned out the controller was burning. So I ended up throwing that out. But, yeah, these modern controllers are definitely a lot safer. Oh, and Bud, thank you so much for the super chat. You're a big inspiration for my own locomotive repairing journey. I have a workbench loaded with locos to fix. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much for the super chat and your comment. I'm glad to hear these videos have been helpful. Do you live alone? No, no. It's at the family house. I don't know what Nerf Kitty wants. Hey, SMT, do you know about the auto train set that operated in Florida? It was the train that hauled passenger cars and cars that used U-boats for the trains. You might want to check your mail. All right. I think I have heard of those. It was a whole concept. You could like travel across the states, bring your car with you, and be in the comforts of a train. Pretty cool concept. Hey, SMT, I have a Bachmann DD40 not wanting to move. The lights work, and I've cleaned the motor. What else could be causing something like that? All right. I mean, I would try to manually turn the drive just to make sure it's not seized. But if you have lights in the engine turning on, what you know is the engine's getting power. So that's, you can write that off. It's picking up power from the track. But whether or not that power, once it's inside the locomotive, is getting into the motor is a whole other thing. So make sure that there is power flowing in the motor. And if the motor's humming, it's probably just seized or burned out. But if it's quiet, you know, check the brushes. You know, you need power to flow in through one brush, go through the entire armature, and then come back out the other side. So, you know, it could be as little as one broken wire or a spring not doing its job, and that could be preventing it from running. How long did it take to build the whole layout? This layout was assembled in 2007, this one in 2012, this one in 2017, and then last year this started being built. It's kind of hard to say how much time I've sunk in. It's not like I've, you know, calculated it or anything, but the layout's been redone so many times, it's not really like a start to finish sort of thing. Do they make brushless train motors? Not that I'm aware of. The challenge is, I believe all brushless motors are AC, and you know, with older controllers, you're putting DC power into the track, and with DCC, I believe it's DC squared or something like that. So you would need to put, I guess whatever's, yeah, it would be an inverter. Maybe not an inverter. It's the opposite to what an inverter is. Whatever converts DC power into AC. It would be an inverter. Yeah. I guess in a sense, though, a DCC controller almost does work like an inverter, because you're converting DC squared into, you know, regular DC, which the motor can take. I don't know. SMT, do some of your locomotives have traction tires? What's the point of traction tires? Do you need them? Yeah, it was more common on older brands of locomotives. The idea is that, you know, a rubber tire can grip the rail a lot better than metal can. So you can pull a lot more cars with a very light or small locomotive. Unfortunately, there are a lot of problems, main one being you have to replace them every so often. And a lot of people just don't like them because, you know, you can end up straining your motor too much if the engine gets stuck. You don't need them necessarily. They just help with pulling capacity. A lot of people think they're a thing of the past, though. Like, I know some model railroaders, the more elite kind, are like, traction tires, what a load of crap. It's like Rapido Trains Inc. Put traction tires on its Hudson locomotives. So they're still using them today. Now, Rapido was actually kind enough to give you another wheel set, so if you want to remove your traction tires, you can do it, but they have not been phased out, that's for sure. Is Bachmann a good train brand? Bachmann's all right. I've had mixed experiences with their quality, and from, you know, what I've heard from the community, it's a similar thing. Some people love them. They've had their Bachmann engines running for, you know, 15 plus years, and they haven't given them any trouble. And I've got other people saying, I bought an engine and it's had so many issues. In fact, my buddy Nick had a Bachmann steam engine, and the drivers had been bending because it wasn't built right. So they're mixed. My bigger issue with Bachmann, though, is just how they price their engines. If they were top-of-the-line engines, their prices would be fine, but I just find for what you pay, they're not the best value. You know, it's like I find if you pay a little bit more to buy like a Kato or an Athearn or something like that, you're probably more likely to not have issues. But it's all up to everybody's taste. Again, there's some people in this community that are huge Bachmann fans, and that's all right. You're the one who got me interested into trains. Well, I'm really happy to hear that, because sure can be a fantastic hobby to be a part of. What's the best flex track to use? I couldn't tell you in terms of brands. I haven't worked with too many different ones. I would recommend for the gauge of rail, though, going with Code 100, because especially if you want to run older brands of engines which have large flanged wheels, you don't want anything lower than like Code 83. You're just going to run into problems. I'm a big fan of my old AHM Mahano IHC locomotives. They tend to be reliable and easy to maintain. I completely agree with that. They're not the highest end engines out there, but I have older IHC and Mahano engines, and they've been pretty solid. Same with AHM. And yeah, my newer Mahano engines, the ones I actually got as a kid, or the new sets, they've been pretty reliable. Again, they're not the best pullers or anything like that, but for what you pay for them, they're fine engines. What do you think about Walter's Train Line? I haven't had a ton of experience with their products, but I think I'm becoming a fan. I bought this little CSX engine right here, which is a Walter's Train Line for, I can't remember what it was. I think it was $60 brand new. And so far it's been a fine engine. Doesn't have the best pulling capacity, but overall it's decent for the money. Probably the best new engine you can buy in terms of DC stuff for not a lot of money. Opinions on the brand Tyco. Oh, that's the controversial one. I like Tyco. I think they made some really cool products back in the day. You know, like the Spirit of 76 and the Canadiana and the Silver Streak and stuff. But those power torque motors are probably the most unreliable drive out there. And I have some Tyco fans who don't really like it when I say that, because if you maintain them really, really well, they can run okay. But in my experience, they're completely unreliable. It doesn't mean you can't enjoy them, but there's a reason why I have so many videos working on the old Tyco power torques. It's because they break a lot. The older Mantua Tycos are pretty solid, though. They have problems too, but the quality was definitely much better. SMT, do you remember that Tyco Pacific video you made where I asked if you could convert one to DCC? I was able to put sound in it. Well, I'm really happy to hear that. Converting older engines to DCC can have its challenges. Certainly not impossible to do, but the big thing is you got to make sure those magnets are remagnetized, or put some neodymium ones in it, or replace the motor, because old motors have high current draw, and that will fry any modern decoder. Power torque motors are garbage. Yeah, there were a bunch of problems. I mean, the pancake motor itself, it's a very tiny motor. It's not that strong. And, you know, with the way the brush plate is laid out, if you lubricate the bearings on the motor, it will actually leak onto the commutator and start burning, which is no good. And some of them weren't built right. I've had some where I've opened them up and there's flashing on the gears, so they didn't cut the flashing off properly. But there's a lot of people that still like them, and I get it. You know, I'm sure if you got one as a kid, You probably got that nostalgia factor, and again, from the aesthetics of the designs, like they're pretty interesting. No means realistic, but as I said, still enjoyable. Older Mantua, Tyco Mantuas with the metal plates are good. The newer ones with plastic are not so good. Yeah, I tend to agree. The Tyco Mantua motors were way better, though. Those 5-poles, I mean, those were pretty solid. Can you do a video on installing a DCC decoder in a DCC-ready locomotive? I'm sure I could if nobody hasn't already, but it's really simple. You just buy a DCC, like 8-pin decoder, and if it's a DCC-ready engine, you just need to find the DC decoder. You pull it out and you plug in the new one. It's super, super easy. Opinions on Riverossi steamers. All right, I'm a big fan of Riverossi. I think they made really nice-looking locomotives. There seems to be a real debate in the community whether or not they were quality or not, because they're not very reliable, but I think they were well-built engines. You know, the parts seem fine. They're, as far as 3-poles go, I think they have the best 3-poles any brand has ever put in a locomotive, but they can be fickle. I find especially the drivers have a lot of problems. You always need to be torquing down the bolts, otherwise they pop out. I've heard stories of them becoming unquartered. So, are they very reliable engines? No, not really. But are they bad quality? The parts are good. I haven't encountered one where it's, you know, like a Tyco where it has like flashing or anything like that. Like all the parts are properly made. So there was care put into them. And again, as far as their 3-poles go, I've never seen another brand put ball bearings in their motors. So, gotta give credit where credit is due. My Bachmann locomotive is a tank. I'm happy to hear yours has been good. I was working on an old AHM C-liner with a 5-pole. The brush pad broke off the brush. Any idea how I could fix this? Maybe solder it back together. The brush pad broke off the brush. Yeah, you could probably try soldering it. The good news is that those engines are kind of common, so you could probably just find a donor engine and steal the parts off it. Riverossi's were quality, just that the motors were not the best for modern day, especially for maintaining. If they're remotored, they can operate with modern locomotives. Well, yeah, I tend to agree with that. It's a 3-pole motor. You know, 5-poles are the most common these days for a reason, I think. But like I said, you know, I don't think they're bad. Is $200 reasonable for a mint condition Riverossi 284 Berkshire? Sounds kind of high in my opinion. SMT, are you using ground throw solenoid motors? How are your turnouts connected? I only have one turnout electrified, and it's Rapido's crew system. Yeah, so far I've had a good experience with it. I find it's been pretty reliable, but all my other switches are just loose. If I want to send a train a different direction, I just flick the switch. It's nothing complicated, but yeah. This doesn't seem like a bad system, and one thing Rapido did was it actually has not a thermostat, but it has a heat sensor in it, so if you overstrain the motor, it will just cut power to it, so you can't really burn those out, which is really, really good. Can you run a Great Northern locomotive? I don't have any running Great Northern locomotives. I wish I did. because they got a really cool paint scheme, but yeah, unfortunately not. What are your opinions on Hornby trains? I don't really know too much about Hornby, to be honest. They're not very common here in Canada, so I just haven't worked with much of their stuff. Dan Reed, is it normal to feel extremely overwhelmed when you first start with model railroading? I'm starting to wonder if this will become more stressful than relaxing. I would say so. I mean, there's a lot of different things in the hobby, but it doesn't have to be that way. I think a lot of people put out advice, and I think it has the right intentions behind it, and they say, hey, when you get into model railroading, the first thing you got to do is you got to figure out a location and an era. You want to run steam or diesel, you know, you got to sort all that out. And honestly, just to get into the hobby, I'd probably skip all of that. Just buy a train set, you know, just try it out a little bit and then go from there. You know, you can't become an expert at something overnight. You know, I've been in the hobby for 15 years and I still probably wouldn't call myself an expert on it. I'm still learning new things about it every day. And it's one of those things I don't think you can perfect, because you can just keep becoming better and better and better at it. But yeah, if I were you, yeah, don't psych yourself out over the hobby. Just jump in and have fun with it. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again too. Like, there's nothing wrong with picking a time and an era and picking steam or diesel. Like, if you like that part of the hobby, you know, fill your boots with it. But the point of a hobby is to enjoy it, and if you're enjoying it, you're doing it right. DB Tech, run what you like. Rule number 1, it's my railroad. There you have it. SMT, can you run the Tyco Spirit of 76 diesel? Absolutely. See if I can find it here. Here it is. So long as it runs, I'm happy. Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. SMT, do you think the IHC 260 is a good low-budget steam opinion? Yeah, absolutely. All the old IHC stuff I find is pretty solid for the money. I mean, it's certainly not the highest end, but I find a lot of the old IHC Mahano stuff, like, it looks decent, usually performs decent. It's fairly reliable. The only thing I find, you know, these types of engines lack is their not the best pullers, just due to their light weight. But other than that, I mean, I've had this one since I was a kid. I've had this one for like close to 15 years and hasn't really ever given me any trouble. It's been a pretty good engine, and it's a steam engine, which always adds a lot more complications, so it's not bad. Yeah, let's get this thing going. Somebody was asking if Tyco was quality earlier. We'll see if this thing is going to fire up or not. Well, today's a good day. The Tyco started. SMT, I've always been curious. Did you have any trouble getting your family to agreeing that having a layout in the basement when I was younger would have been impossible for me? Not really. To my family's credit, they've been super supportive of the hobby. I mean, my parents were actually the ones who got me my first layout. It was my 6th year. When I turned 6, it was actually my birthday gift. They had, there was this auction, a charity auction, and there was this guy who actually, he was a carpenter, and he offered up his services as part of the charity. So they bid, and they won the bid, and they had this layout built. So yeah, I would say they've been very supportive of it, which is something I'm quite thankful for, because yeah, I have taken up quite a bit of space down here, and you know, there are times you know, my mom will come down here and she'll kind of look around and be like, yeah, I remember when I had this all as storage. So but no, they've been really good about it. Your parents aren't stupid. They know trains will keep you out of trouble. Well, I guess that's one way of looking at it. I have a Tyco Manua engine motor that doesn't work. I found the power wire is soldered to the top of the commutator screw. Is this correct or no? Well, the way a lot of those motors work is you have one wire which goes to ground. So if there's a wire connected to a screw on the motor, that might be okay. Because it could just be trying to connect to the ground on the engine. But yeah, one brush has to be isolated. That's the rule. I got a Tyco Silver Streak in HO scale. I got it on eBay for $10. All it needed was aux bender on the wheels. I've run it over a 240 grit sponge and wiped some aux bender on the tracks, and it works great. I'm glad to hear that. Can you run a C-liner with some streamlined passenger cars? I don't know about streamlined passenger cars, but I'd be happy to get the old Riverossis going here. It's been a while since we've run those. Hey SMT, did you know that Rapido Trains is hiring for the maintenance department? I'm pretty sure somebody sent me a link to that. If they were located in Ottawa, I'd probably be down to try to apply for that job, but I'm sure it's probably out in Toronto or something like that, so yeah, I'll just stick to fixing trains from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Modern locomotives tend to be a lot tougher to work on. Like, they're not impossible to maintain. In fact, I'll give Rapido credit. They've actually uploaded videos on how to do basic maintenance on their engines, which is really credible for a modern manufacturer, but there's modern engines are a lot more reliable than older ones, but there's a lot more that can go wrong because they're more complex. It's kind of a contradiction. Okay. It's kind of concerning me how much current these are pulling. We'll see. I might just need a warm up. I'll get these cars off the main line. Hey SMT, can you run the Kato BNSF-9 or the Athearn Blue Box CN locomotive from the sketchy Etsy video? Yeah, I'll run the BNSF. Whoops. Do you have any Monopoly engines or cars? No, I wasn't aware anybody made that. Alright, let's hope the two Riverossis. Yeah, okay, good. Current draw went right down. Hello from good old Michigan. Welcome. Those engines need some work. Yeah, I haven't serviced them in a long time. I mean, provided the current draw is low, that's a good sign that I'm probably not going to end up burning up the motor, but they're a little noisy. SMT, what's the Tyco box on the workbench? Well, a buddy of mine was going through a train store. Same guy who found the other two engines, if you've seen the videos. And he actually ended up buying this engine for $5, so this is probably going to be the next one I fix up. I haven't taken it out of the box yet, so I have no idea what the condition's like, but yeah, whenever you shoot the video, we'll test it out and we'll see what we're dealing with. Maybe I'll be lucky, maybe it will start up, but in all likelihood it's probably seized or something like that. Call me Big Papa. Thanks for the great videos. Thank you so much for the super chat. How do you get an Athearn to stop derailing? Hi from Minnesota. Check that the trucks are pivoting properly. That can be a problem on blue boxes. Sometimes something in the drive gets stuck or there's a wire out of place. If something gets in the way of the truck and it can't turn properly, it's a problem. So what I always like to do, take an engine like this, make sure the truck can tilt up and down, side to side, and just kind of test it out, because sometimes just by doing this, you'll feel that it can maybe turn one way but not the other, or it won't go up or down, and just keep working at it, because trucks need to be able to, you know, adjust to corners and uneven track, all sorts of stuff. Provided you get that in order, probably will be okay. Another thing to check too is the gauge. Make sure your wheels are engaged. What's your favorite road name? Mine's Chessie System. Canadian National. Do you have any Bachmann branch line? Well, I have this engine right here, which is a Lilliput, which I believe is part of Bachmann branch line, so kind of. For end scale, what's the tightest radius of track you can go with on a 36-inch table? I couldn't tell you for end scale. Maybe somebody in the comments will know. Can you run a doodlebug? Yeah, sure. So we can probably take these two Riverossis off. I'm impressed. They've maintained the level of current draw. I think it's actually gone down, so that's good. What company would you recommend for buying locomotives on a budget? If you want to buy some cheap used locomotives, my first go-to brand would probably be Athearn. The old blue boxes are pretty tough, and they're easy to identify. Well, this is a bad example, but usually they have like 4 dots, and this is the motor mounts. So the old blue boxes are pretty solid. If you want to buy a new engine, my first choice would probably be Walter's Train Line for budget engines. Blue Goose or the Dreyfus. Yeah, we can run the Dreyfus. I think the Blue Goose is still broken, but we'll run that doodlebug first. Exactly the doodlebug I want to see. Oh, I'm happy to hear that. Hello, Harrison. I can't tell you how fantastic the layout is looking. Never get tired of the videos. Give Nerf Cat a huge hug for me. Oh, thank you so much for the comment. And to answer the person's question about the tightest radius on an N-scale layout, according to DB Tech, I think the tightest N-scale gauge radius is 9.5 inches or 19 in diameter. So yeah, I guess if you have a layout which is 19 inches wide, you can fit N-scale. Oh. All right, I'm back. What brand doodlebug? It's Bachmann Spectrum. Didn't cost very much. I think I bought it used for, I don't know, $30 or something like that. SMT, how do you become a moderator for the channel? There isn't really a process to become a moderator. I just kind of pick people that I see fit randomly. But at the moment, pretty happy with the ones that are here. What HO brands should you stay away from? Well, if you are looking to buy things that are used and reliable, I'd probably avoid the Power Torques because those are not very reliable. The old Bachmann steam engines from the 80s are nightmares to work on because the gears in them are nylon, they split, the wheels become unquartered, it basically junks the engine, so avoid those. Yeah, for reliability, you basically want to avoid all the stuff from the 80s. That was kind of when quality for most brands was at its worst, with the exception of AHM, IHC, and Athearn. I guess Riverossi too, I don't know. But yeah, that's what comes to mind. I'm wondering if I'm missing any. Lifelikes, again, from the 80s, not the best out there. They're not the worst, though. Not usually too unreliable, just not great runners. Oh, actually, there is a brand of lifelike engine you want to stay away from, the tea kettle locomotives. Those things are notorious for stripping their gears. I have 2 of them. Both of them don't run because they shredded their gears. I'll see if I can find one, though, just so people know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know where the tea kettle is at, but little lifelike 040s from the 80s and 90s, those are usually trouble. Harrison, can you run an 040 steam locomotive? Ah, sure, why not? Dig something out of the collection. I'm saving for a train set. That's awesome. Well, goodness. Okay, I can't run that one. A little Riverossi, we'll do that. Do you have any single axle locomotives? Can't say I do. This one's running a little rough. I have an old lifelike tea kettle that still runs. Well, cherish it and put a lot of oil on the gears, because, yeah, the amount of those I've seen strip their gears is unbelievable. Do you have any Wabash engines? Yeah, as a matter of fact, we were running these 2 Wabash C-liners earlier in the live stream. Run the Go Train. We already ran the Go Train, so I'd prefer to run something else. The Dreyfus. I did say I was going to run that. Let's get it out. Trains and Sirens. Hey Harrison, I bought my first Bachmann N-scale set. Are they worth it at all? It's an Alaskan GP40 McKinley Explorer. Reconstruction set. Any thoughts? It depends on what you paid for it. It's like I was saying earlier in the live stream. Bachmann's not my favorite brand because I have had mixed experiences with their quality. But if you can buy a Bachmann engine cheap, like it's all about price to quality ratio, right? So, might be. There it is. I was looking for the tender for this. I have the cars for this train too. And I don't think there are any problems with them, so I don't know. Maybe we should bring the whole train out. What do all of you think? -9. Alright, well, everybody seems to really want the car, so... We'll test the engine first, though, just to make sure it's actually working right. And but if it does, yeah, we'll haul out the whole 4-car set. Should be something. Alright, Riverossi. Right on. Well, I'm happy to see that. Now let's go get those cars. I think they're here. Can you run the Hull Chelsea Wakefield train? Maybe at the very end of the live stream. We already have all the cars on the track, so it wouldn't be that hard to get it going. Plus, I did a ton of work on it to try to make things run a little better, so the diesel doesn't short on every switch now, which is something nice. Coupler on this engine seems a little strange. What's the blue wrench next to people's names for? It just means they're a channel moderator, so if somebody's like posting spam messages or something like that, they have the ability to delete them. Hey SMT, how's the Hershey factory going? I'd say it's about 90% complete. Still needs a little more work, but I'm really hoping to have it done by April. Can you run the RS1 next? I don't know what an RS1 is. I know I have some RS3s, but I'm not sure. Do you like the movie The Polar Express? Absolutely. Super fun holiday movie. I actually saw that when it came out in the theaters back in 2004. My mom brought me out there, and I was terrified the entire time. Pretty scary movie when you're a kid, but good memories. You gotta love the train, too. Paramarquette 1224. I hope I got the number right. All right. $12.25. I was off by a digit. Can you run the Canadian Pacific Royal Hudson? Maybe so. Love the view. Is it just me, or does the tender look derailed? It might not be sitting correctly on the track. It's quite nice seeing the whole train together. Managed to snag a Rapido Royal Hudson. It's in the mail now. Oh, that's lucky. Those are pretty fancy engines there. I've seen a few. Rapido's done such a nice job with them. I'm sure that's going to be a wonderful addition to your collection. The lights get their powers from the rails. Yep. What do you use to edit videos? Oh, it's just iMovie. Nothing too fancy. Have you ever done any coupler conversions, Hornby to KD or Hornhook to KD? We do some videos on conversions. I'm not super good at them. I have converted a lot of Hornhook couplers to KDs. Never the Hornby style though. I don't know how you would do that. I guess have to figure out a way to install a coupler mounting box and then go from there. Have you ever thought about getting a scale trains locomotive? I've heard a lot of good things about scale trains. Yeah, I don't know. If the right opportunity came along, I don't think I would hold back on buying one. John the Rail Fan, it's my first time on the channel. Welcome. SMT, do you have any pre-orders in? I don't know. I don't think so. Oh no, they'd have to come out with something particularly interested in. I don't buy a lot of engines used, and I get it. I mean, buying a new engine is gonna be reliable right out of the box. You don't really have to do anything, but they usually do cost a fair bit, and I don't know. For me, a lot of the fun is working on them, cracking them open, and cleaning them up. So there are certain cases, like with buying the Wakefield train, I wanted that to be a pristine locomotive, but in most cases, it's seeing what the train store has in the junk bin. Can you run the big boy? Yeah, I suppose so. A lot of people have been wanting me to run that BNSF engine, though, so we'll, I guess, have that pull these cars. It's going to look really weird, but I'm going to do it anyway. Just going to put the Dreyfus back. Canadian behavior. Hey, folks, join the server. Yes, we've got an SMT mainline Discord server run by my bud Liam, who's in the chat as we speak. Do you have the Blue Goose? Yeah, it's here. It unfortunately doesn't run. I need to do some work on it, but I got one. Hello from Montreal. Thanks for your videos and dedication to the channel. I'm not into model railroads, but I was always interested in it, and I enjoy watching your videos. Well, thank you so much. Also, hello from about an hour and a half away in Quebec. Good old Gatineau. Or salut, I should say. Wow, isn't this something? Look at that. Isn't it wonderful when you have a modern freight locomotive hauling vintage passenger cars? Bonjour from Ontario. From Ontario. It's called a business train. Do you know of the railroad called the Central Railroads of Vancouver, or the CVRC? I have a locomotive that I want to send you. It says CVRC on the side. I guessed it was Canadian, so you might like it. I can't say I have heard of that railroad, no. I'm not super familiar with Vancouver. I've been in Vancouver for half a day. That's as long as I was there, because last summer I had a friend who was actually traveling across Canada, and I flew into Vancouver, and we spent a few hours there, and then it was off to Squamish. One thing I hate about the excursions is the rainbow cars. Anybody else? I haven't heard of such a thing. Can you run the train, the runaway train, since it's snowing at my place? Oh, heck, I don't see why not. SMT, I've got to ask you something. Go right ahead. Greetings from Southern California. Can you please run the Amtrak F59PH out with your Go coaches? Yeah, Amtrak F59. That must be that new one I bought last summer. Where the heck's it at? It's right here. I'll slide that over a little bit and bring that out. Yeah, I don't know if I'll hook it up to the Go coaches, but oh. Okay, I'm really sorry. I wish I could haul some cars with this, but it turns out the coupler's kind of busted on it. Sorry about that. If you ever been to Texas, I'd love to visit one day, but no, never have. States, I've been to a fair amount of the states. Been to California, Florida, Pennsylvania, New York, Ohio, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont. I feel like I'm missing some. Minnesota, never Minnesota, no. Zetnik trains. Zetnik was a pretty good store. Somebody was telling me the other day that they no longer deal in used locomotives, so I'm not sure if that's true, but if it's the case, I don't know what that's all about. Oh, actually, I could say Kentucky, too, because while I was in Cincinnati, the border is right there, so. All right. What the heck? Well, that cannot be good. I don't know how that happened. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Like, the switch is, like, split apart. Crap. I wonder... Yeah, I don't even know what to do about that. Red flag the switch and call the RTC. Yeah, I think we're just gonna do things the way I usually run things on this layout, and just pull this piece of metal out and hope for the best. This could cause probably a pretty bad derailment, but you know, you can't be worrying about those types of things in life too much. You know, sometimes you just gotta send it and run. A 1985 Runaway Train. Run the train the other way. That's the spirit. It's such a strange thing, though. I've never seen that happen to a switch. I don't know what would have caused that. Not very impressive, because those switches are not cheap. SMT, you said you would run the Amtrak and the Go. I did, and then I discovered that the coupler was broken, so it can't really pull anything. I mean, I could run the engine by itself, but that's it. We're going off the rails like a crazy train. Yeah. So here's the Amtrak engine. It shows the Hershey factory. Here she is. You have experience with MDC roundhouse locomotives. I can't say I do. Do you watch Sam's Trains? Yeah, every once in a while. I find he's kind of changed his style of videos up a little bit differently. I don't know if anybody else has found that, but I don't know. He's played a little bit different than I remember years ago. I don't know if this has like a coupler which is hitting the ground or what the case is, but trying to get this engine out seems to be a little bit tricky. I can hear the famous music from that movie playing. Do you have any HON 30? I can't say I do. Never seen the movie. Yeah, for anybody that hasn't seen Runaway Train, it's a little bit of an odd one. I'm a huge fan of the movie. I think it's really cool, but it's probably one of the strangest movies I think I've ever seen. Run the SP Olympic. All right. That's illegal for a life like GP38 to run quietly. Well, there's the joke. It's a dummy engine. The only powered unit in that entire set is the GP9 on the back by Athearn. Sounds like we've got a few derailments going on. Hopefully we'll make it around and we can just put everything... Oh, no. Yeah, things really were about to be going off the rails like a crazy train. Already happened last week, which is why that happened. And then there was trouble. On the ground, yep. What material would be good to make homemade buildings with? I'm not an expert, but to build the Hershey factory, most hobby shops carry raw building supplies like miniature bricks and things like that. So the structure in this case is built out of styrofoam, but I just plastered that building material on it. So I'm sure you could build a model house the same way. Patrick Finn, thank you for the super chat. You helped me a lot getting back into the hobby and repairing engines I had as a kiddo. Thanks a lot for that. You brightened up tough times for me. It really means a lot to hear that. Thank you so much. It's so nice how many people have put comments saying, hey, I got back into the hobby because of these videos. Because to tell you all the truth, I almost left the hobby years ago. I don't know, I just kind of fell out of focus, and then the Hiawatha dragged me back in. I started making these videos, and I'm so glad I didn't leave, because it's such a great hobby to be part of. It's like, yeah, I was telling one of my buddies the other day, because he's not into trains, but he was checking out the layout and stuff, and he's like, how much time do you spend down here every day? I'm like, 2 hours. And I was like, it's great, you know? It's like all this crazy stuff's going on in the world, in my life, and everything else. And, you know, I could just come down here for a couple hours and just play with the trains, and takes your mind off of everything. SMT, what's your P.O. box so I can send donations and models in the near future? Also say hi to Nerf Cat. I have a video on the P.O. box somewhere online, but also somewhere around here have a card with the whole thing on it. I don't know where it went. It should, if you search it up, it should come up. I left the hobby for a little bit, and then I jolted back. Yeah, I don't know. It can be really easy to just get caught up with everything, and, you know, I'd say, you know, when I was, like, between, I don't know, 5 and, like, 13, I was pretty focused on the hobby, and then, you know, I was in school there, and I'll be honest, there's a lot of pressure, especially around that age, you know, just kind of like judgment. So, you know, the fact I was really into the trains, you know, that was kind of a thing that some kids my age would kind of like pick on me a little for there. So I think that probably didn't help. And then at the same time too, I got into video games and stuff. So there was a lot kind of guiding me away from the hobby. But it's too bad, because it's like I just kind of forgot how much I liked being in it. And it's like, again, it was so close. But a lot of things went different. When will your next layout expansion be? Well, I don't really think I can expand the layout much more, but there's going to be... eventually, I'm going to connect this to the rest of the layout, and it's... I'll definitely make a video whenever I do that. might be a while because I want to get the Hershey factory done first, but as I say, all in good time. I just don't tell people I do model trains. I'm 14. Yeah, exactly. And you know what? That's probably what I should have done. I didn't know that. And it's not that, you know, being a model railroader is this thing to be ashamed of, but, you know, trying to change everybody's opinion on that is a tricky thing. And it's a funny thing because I find a lot of people, you know, when I talk about like model trains with people who are not into model trains, I find some of them have trouble understanding it. But then when they come down here and they actually see it in person, it's like they flip, you know, it changes their minds. But I don't know, it's all pretty done. But when yeah, I generally talk trains with trains people because they understand. When you tell someone you're a model railroader at 14, 15, and 16, it's a great way to get beat up. I don't know about beat up, but, you know, it is a source of, I don't know, it's a target, like, it's just sort of like they just, you say, oh, I bought this new engine or something like that, and they're just not going to understand it. It's like, why would you spend $200 on a toy train, you know? It's just not something that they can understand, because it's just not their hobby, and that's okay, but, yeah, I don't know. Again, when people actually see things in person, I find it's a very different reaction, but, you know, when I was younger, I didn't really understand that. Not that I'm super wise now, but yeah, you do learn things over time. Some people just glaze over when you tell them about model trains until they see them. Yeah, absolutely. It's fun. Have you ever seen the movie Zombies 2? No, I can't say I have. Question, have you ever thought about making a video with all the different track changes you did to the main layout? I see when I watch a bunch of different live streams. I don't know. It's kind of an interesting idea. I did years ago do a video where I compared this layout to what it looked like in 2008 because it was... I found the photo on the same day in 2018, so it was a 10-year difference, but it's an interesting idea. Recruiters came to my school for career day once. Was the New York City Transit Authority. Oh, wow. Whenever I get a new locomotive, I try to get my mom to go into my room and see it. She's always like, oh, I'm too busy. But then we'll stay there for 15 minutes watching the trains. That's what I'm saying. It's a lot different when you can actually see the whole thing. And it's not, too, it's just like, you know, for people who are not into model trains, I find when they see the layout, it's not just about the trains. Like, you know, I think they like watching them go around and everything. But the big thing is that, you know, there's kind of something for everyone if you make a layout with a bunch of different details. So it's like, you know, I know some people who are big into like horseback riding and stuff. So when they see a horse barn with some horses, like they love that. Or, you know, you got like a diner. Like it's a little city. There's kind of something for everyone, you know, circus, right? So everybody always has a different reaction. Michael $49, my goodness. Thank you so much for the super chat. Wow. I don't really know what to say. I used to have trains, but they were stolen. Oh. Who in the world would be crazy enough to put 50 bucks into a super chat? I don't know, but I really appreciate it. It's ridiculously generous. SMT, I have an anime you may like. It's called Galaxy Railways. I love the show. Ever been in Wisconsin? No, it's a place I'd love to visit, though. Land of That 70s Show, Evinrude Outboards, Mercury Outboards. That's Walters, Harley Davidson. That's about all I know about Wisconsin. Can you do something BC Rail? Oh, heck, I don't see why not. Where's Nerf Cat? I don't know. I think he must have headed upstairs. I was kind of surprised he hung around down here as long as he did. It's not handling that corner too well. Maybe we'll try running it the other way. Yeah, got some good old Mercs. Yeah, Mercury and Evinrude. I want to buy some model boats for the layout. That's what I want to incorporate. I've been looking, though. It seems to be tricky to find models. If anybody knows a good make of HO scale boats, send them to me. Specifically, small power boats with outboard propulsion. Yeah, if anyone knows where to find some of those, send me a link. Osborne Models makes boats. Right, I'll have to note that. You're gonna get boats in the mail. Well, I mean, if somebody has a boat, miniature boat that they want to send, I won't say no to such a thing. But no, if somebody makes them, I'll buy one. I just want to get some power boats on the layout. I think it'd be nice. $10:03 SMT time. SMT time. Shapeways, they do have some cool 3D printed boats. What the heck? A $99 super chat. Thank you so much, Micah. So generous. Wow. Buy something nice with that money, dude. Keep up with all the good work in the videos. Well, thanks a bunch. Yeah, like I said, I don't even know what to say. Wow. Super chats in the stream, yeah. Serenity, yeah, exactly. Wait till SMT sees that. We need to do a Hershey dance for the chat. What's a Hershey dance? Thank you, thank you. SMT, you can afford to take a day off with the super chats. Well, tomorrow, or not tomorrow, but next week's a light work week, so Yeah. Thanks a bunch. Can you show us the Hershey factory? Sure. I mean, I don't want to spoil it too much because I kind of want it to be a bit of a surprise for a lot of people, but not everybody watches the live stream, so that's okay. We'll just rotate some lights at it. But still need to buy some cars and things like that for it, but this bit is really turning out the way I hoped. I still need to put some details on the visitor sign and everything, but oh, we got a super sticker from Great Railroad. It doesn't show the rest of your name because it's too long, but thank you for the super sticker. Finn Patrick said you didn't see my second donation. Would you mind reading it and do me a favor? I'm really sorry I missed one. Crap, I don't see it. I don't know why this has been happening lately. It's usually super chats, they pop right up in a section. Like you can actually click a super where's my mind going? Super chat, and it will show you all the previous messages, but one of them didn't appear. Weird. Well, if you have the message, just post it in the chat. I'll read it out. I'm really sorry about that. You custom made the factory. Well, really well done. Thank you. Labor, I love building that place. What would happen if you ran 15 locomotives in the same contest? Probably be quite tricky getting them to all work properly together, but it's not impossible. I think I did that once with some 040s. Athearn is a good start for miniature boats. I'm sure there's lots of manufacturers out there. I've done some research. I went on eBay and stuff, and there's a small fishing boat with an Evinrude outboard, which looks pretty good, but I don't know. I'm kind of thinking more like a Bayliner type boat, you know, one of those old power boats. Something from the 80s. I don't even know where I'd put the boats. Probably on the river. I don't know. SMT, would you mind running the Australian OEBB engine you got sent? Greetings from Venna. Thanks for giving me the confidence to let my inner boy out again. Thrilled to hear that. Yeah, we can run that. Pat's message. Would you mind running the Australian? Okay, that was it. It's right here. The Hershey factory looks 100% professional. Well done. Thank you. Micromark makes a lot of boat kits. I'm going to have to go through the chat on this live stream later and write down all the names and then go digging around and see what I can find. The challenge is I'm being kind of picky because I want it to be an outboard boat, and so, you know, you're looking for a specific era with a specific type of motor, but someone's got to make them. I'm sure they exist. The Walters fishing boat kit is nice. I think that's the one with the Evinrude. Doesn't look bad. Ask Sam's Trains to 3D print one for you. Oh, sure. Just go put a comment on his video about some 3D printing. Be like, yo, my boy Sam, I need some boats. Of all the people. The sound operating on that locomotive. Well, the sound works on DC, but it doesn't work when it's set to DCC, and for some reason it keeps going through the startup sequence, so I don't know what's going on with it. I went to Hobby House today. They have a guy who repairs locomotives, Rajan, and they have a test track to diagnose locos. Yes, Rajan's a great guy. I featured him in one of my videos a while back, but yeah, the attention to detail he puts into some of his projects are it's pretty crazy. One of those people that can do those DCC installs and will actually add a light to steam locomotives to make the firebox light up. Really, really nice stuff. Probably going to see if we can get sound working on this engine. How do you feel about Athearn Blue Box rolling stock? It seems okay. It's not like my favorite brand of rolling stock, but you can find it pretty cheap and add some new couplers on it. It's fine. What the heck? Another super chat for $99. I don't... Oh my goodness. Your work with model trains brings back so many memories of my childhood love for Tyco trains in the 70s and the early 80s. Too often, the locomotives would stop and squeal with the headlight glowing extremely bright. Well, thank you so much, Emery Moody. I don't believe this. I gotta say, everyone, like, I really, really appreciate it. It's so generous, but I almost feel bad. Like, that's a lot of money. Thanks, though. Wow. Canadian behavior. Rajan is such a Chad. Absolutely. Getting those projects done. Mint. Hey, SMT, do you have any life like HO trains you don't want anymore? If you do, please let me know. Bro, again. Yeah, I know. Hey, it's my money. I can do what I want with it. Well, again, like, super, super generous. I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm just doing this live stream running some trains here, and people are sending in these huge super chats. It's like, whoa. But very, very generous. Depends on what type of Athearn Blue Box rolling stock. Most of them are great. Not crazy about their 86 high cube box cars, though, mainly because of the coupler box design on them. Tyco bow boxes are stupid rubbish. If Tyco didn't make blue boxes, Athearn did. Run the Tyco E8s. Alright. I'll bring out two of them. I don't know if they're all going to start, though, because one of them was, I'm pretty sure, doing some smoky type stuff last time, which was not so good. Nathan Delay, welcome. Canadian behavior. Thanks for the super chat, bud. I wonder if all of these are going to start or not. I don't know, maybe it'd be better just to try to run them all in the same direction. Canadian behavior, just doing my part. Where's the Delaware and Lackawanna locomotive? It's right... It's kind of hard to see, but it's that one right there. Vincent Chin, thank you so much for the super chat. All right, Tycos. Let's see which ones go. Okay, half of them seem to want to start. That's something. Let's take, I think it was these two which were not starting. Also, that one's way faster than the other for some reason. So we'll let those go around. Meantime, we'll see if we can get another one to start. Absolutely nothing. We've also got, oh, this one wants to go now. All right. Let the faster ones go ahead. This one I thought was running fine. Matthew Harris, thanks for the super chat. Well, I'll be darned, something's going wrong with it. Back on the workbench that goes. Do you watch BA Rail Systems? Yeah, I've seen that channel before. Decent content. A lot of E-units. Let these go around for another couple loops or something. Jacure. Jefferson gives this to Nerf Cat only. Alright, well. Looks like Nerf Cat's gonna be getting some Whiskas cat treats. Hershey Factory needs some Hershey's Kisses. Maybe so. I still love my Australian train, OBB. Looks like you unfortunately mixed it up with an Australian loco. No kangaroos in Austria, though. Austria? Are you talking about the Bombardier Talent? Austria. Yeah, I don't know which one that is. Nathan Delay, Harrison, are you going to Sparky's meet and greet? I am very excited to go there. It's awfully tempting. I'd love to go up to Pennsylvania. The only thing is with work and everything, things have been quite busy, so I'm not sure how keen they would be to give me the time. Well, we'll see. Please put an F unit. Okay. I do want to run that Austrian train. I just don't know which one it is. Now. For sure somebody wanted me to run a CN one, so I guess we'll run this. Harrison, run the Austria locomotive per Patrick Finn's earlier request. I want to, I just don't know which one that is. I'll run it. Yeah, I just don't know which engine that's referring to. If it's the Bombardier Talon, I'll get it out, but I just don't know. Austrian locomotive. I'm trying to... I don't know which engine I have, which is Austrian. It's the 040. That's it. Yeah. I think this thing is Austrian. Serenity. You know, I really hate to say this. What the heck? All right, let's crack it open. Where the heck did my tripod stand go? What the heck? He needs another repair vid. Oh, it's going to be better than a repair vid. It's going to be a live repair. Let's see if we can get this thing going. Repair stream. That's a surprise. Gotta love these old Flashmans. Well, I mean, it was running fine last time. I'm kind of surprised. Sorry I'm late. You're never late on this channel because I don't plan these live streams. Is the pentagraph functional? I think it is. I'm worried I'm gonna break it. Yeah, I got it off on one side. How does this work? I don't know. I think you can adjust it, but I don't want to mess around with that too much. I think we've found the source of the problem. I'm really surprised that would come off. It seems pretty snug. This is really odd. I can't seem to lift the frame off because this is further back than it should be, so I guess we'll just try to see if I can hold the motor on one side while... Okay, I think I see what's going on here. Yeah, you know you've messed up when you have to use tools just to get into glue to repair things. Hello from Edmonton, Alberta. Hello. All right. Harrison, it's really impressive scratch building the Hershey factory. I've been to Chocolate World in Pennsylvania when I was little. I mean, that right there is the original Hershey's factory, which I believe they also had a tour on at one point. And then they replaced it with what's currently there, which is their quite, you know, sweet looking but artificial factory. So I guess we'll just let that dry for a little while, and then hopefully this thing will be good as new. How are you, SMT? Oh, I'm doing all right. How are you? Can't complain down here with the trains and getting to chat with all sorts of like-minded people. Cursed Amtrak. Sure. When did you start the Hershey factory? Technically 2018, although most of it's been built within the last 2 years. All right, let's find that Acela. I don't know why I decided to put it out here, but whatever. Run it at full speed. I think people want me to repeat history here. For anybody who doesn't know, a few years ago I was doing a live stream and I made the unwise decision to give this thing a lot of power. And it actually ended up rolling on the corner and it flew right off the layout. I couldn't believe it. And then it smashed into a million pieces. I managed to get it back together and it actually still runs. But yeah, not good planning on my part. I guess we'll just let that run around and hopefully this glue will dry fast enough. It's kind of an interesting view. Yeah, there we go. I could find a, oh yeah, here we go. I found a lighter. I think I'll just speed up the drying process a little here. Haven't tuned in a while. Well, welcome back. Unresponsible speeds. Famous last words. Okay, I think the engine should be good now, so I guess we'll put the drive back together. And hopefully this thing will actually run properly now. Yeah, I think that glue is dry enough. I think that's how it went. Another super chat, Patrick Finn. Hi, Harrison. The Austrian train is the Roco HO 04141. Don't want to post the link, so I copied the name. Do you know what I'm talking about? Main man. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I know which one we're referring to. I don't know if it runs, however, but we'll try to make it work. Uh-oh. Yeah, I think that was an engine which someone actually sent in a while back. Red, I believe. I don't know if it runs. But if that's the case, that means I've been fixing this engine up for no reason. That's the one. Okay. I remember which one now. I wasn't aware that one was actually Austrian, though. I thought that was a... or maybe it was. I don't know. Someone about 2 years ago sent in a Roco engine. Something does not look right about that. How did I screw this up? Oh, I see what happened. The coupler flipped back and it actually went under the shell, and now Austrian state trains. Okay, this is starting to make a little more sense now. There we go. Alexander Thomas, hey, do you still have that CN steam locomotive, the one with the bullet nose Betty in green? I'd love to see you run that. Much love from Central Missouri, USA. Yeah, we can run that. I'll get that going, and then I'll go hunting for the Austrian engine. As a matter of fact, it's right here, so it shouldn't be too hard to get going, I should say. Rando Pop, I'm a big fan. Thank you. I don't know why my tripod's doing some weird stuff. I think we're seeing a bit of a reaction. Have you heard of Virtual Railfan? Oh yeah. I don't tune in terribly often, but I've seen it. So there's the bullet nose, and now it's time to go hunting for the Austrian engine. So I'm just gonna put that there and see if I can find that engine. Harrison, the one that you are is the exact same one in the Pennsylvania Railroad Museum's tracks. It's plain blue, and I've seen the same one. It's kind of close by. Huh. Wow. I kind of wonder if this engine might have got some, I guess what we might call obscure storage. As in it's been tucked behind the engines or something like that. I don't think it's on that level. See, what I can't remember is whether or not I actually ever restored that engine or not. I think it did get fixed. I don't think it's on this shelf. Yeah, I don't think it's on this layer. I really don't know where this engine's at. Unless, of course, I did fix it, and for whatever reason, I never moved it from the storage. The repair section, that is. Hold on a moment. Maybe it's on the repair cart. That's what I'm kind of thinking. But the truth is, I can't remember specifically if I ever fixed that engine or not. I have a vague recollection of doing that, but I don't know if I'm imagining things. Come on, brain work. I think this is it. Yeah, because there was two of these. There was this one, and then there was that's a German BD diesel. It's not it. I'll be dipped. I don't even know what I'm hunting for, unless if it's the yellow and orange one. I'm so confused. Hold on. found it. Is it this? No. My goodness. I think I need to go find my phone. I think I need to go on Google, write the name of this thing in, and then go dig for it. Yes, it is. Okay, now people I think are just trying to play some games with my mind. Patrick Finn, don't worry about it, broski. Thanks for your content getting back into the hobby. I mean, to admit the hobby with 26 and making me aware of Riverossi so I can finally get my big boy. Well, thanks a bunch. I want to find this engine though. I just I don't know. Its name is the Roco HO 4141. Hold on a minute. All right. I'm gonna figure this whole thing out. 04141. Yeah, I don't think I own one of those. Anyone else like watching Hobo Shoestring Ride the Rails? That's a great channel. I couldn't believe it. In one of his more recent videos, one of the people who I guess work for CSX actually recognized him and let him into the cab. I think a video titled "A Box of Train Stuff" might have maybe the German diesel. I am so confused. Are you in Quebec? Yes, Gatineau. Yeah, no, that's the engine I pulled out earlier. It's this one. I wonder if maybe this was in the wrong box and that's why That's what was going on. Jim Zimmer. Yeah, those are good channels. Well, I think we should run this thing anyway. If it does run, I don't even know. I think it does. Oh, yeah. Well, there it goes. A sub sent you the Austrian. Yeah, well, this subscriber did send me this one. I Is it Fleshman? This is a Roco, I believe. But I just don't know about this other engine. It's a Pico. Anyone watch RBP trains? I think that's the guy that does the videos with G-scale trains, right? Harrison, if some company made a train set that represents your YouTube channel, which company do you think should make it, and what would you want to go with? I don't know. I think manufacturers probably don't want to associate with this channel because I generally work with older stuff, and I don't know, just the style of the videos. I think if I was doing more mainstream unboxings and stuff, maybe they would be interested, but yeah, I'm not sure. Just make a train with a giant cat. Yeah, absolutely. RBP is O-scale. I think I've seen his videos. Do you have Aussie trains? I've got the one BHP iron one. Have you seen? Yeah, I've seen Chadwick's channel. You run the CNRS3? Yeah, sure. But before, let's throw this thing on too, see if I got that working okay. I don't know if it's quite fast enough. I wonder if this was the Roco. Those locos might be going slow because multiple engines need less power. Probably a little bit. Harrison, if you had if you had your YouTube channel loco painted on a real train, what type of locomotive do you think it should be? And I think the good thing is free promotion, but on railroad tracks, yeah, it would be nice. Probably a -9, I think, yeah. Now, somebody wanted me to run that RS3 that I fixed up recently, so I guess we'll try to get that going. However, okay, actually, it's right here. Hopefully it will start. Yeah. Does Nerf Cat ever come down to the train layout anymore? I love the one where Nerf Cat supposedly ordered cat food, or the one where he knocked over a thing. I have a Calico Cat. Yeah, Nerf Cat still visits. If you watch the beginning of the live stream, he was actually down here for probably 20 minutes. Can you run a boat? Oh, I wish. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it's time to run something else. I think I should probably end off the live stream too, because it's almost 11 o'clock, and I'm sure the people residing upstairs would appreciate it. Can you run the BNSF? All right, all right. Where in the heck did I... Oh, it's actually back in storage. Good. Howdy from Texas. Welcome. There we go. How old is Nerf Cat? The video where he walked all over the layout is the first video of yours I ever watched. I don't know how old he is, because we kind of adopted him. He wasn't, like, we didn't get him as a kitten, but he was still pretty young. I don't think he was fully grown, but he's definitely an older cat, because that was in the summer of 2009, so presumably he was born at some point towards the end of 2008, so I guess that would make him about 14 or so, if my math is right. 13? I don't know. Hey, SMT, reminding you I'm running the HCW train. Alright, we'll bring it out. Hey, SMT, have you ever negotiated your way into the cab of a locomotive? Yeah, that has happened a few times. I don't know if I should name anything, because I don't want... I mean, it was years ago, but I don't want anybody to get in trouble for it. But yeah, I've been in the cabs of a few different locomotives. Pretty crazy experience. I also got to drive a a rail piece of equipment, but again, I'm not going to be naming anybody. I've looked my way into the cabs of a couple locomotives. Yeah, at museums and stuff, they're usually pretty relaxed about that kind of thing, if you ask nicely. Okay, I'm not even gonna read that comment. Somebody posted something that was kind of funny. The Swayze Express. Oh my goodness, I didn't expect anybody to talk about the Patrick Swayze Express from Trailer Park Boys. You know, I really wish the model railroading community had a figure like Sebastian Bach from Trailer Park Boys. You know, like a rock artist. He'd show up at train shows and stuff. It would be the best thing. Loved that episode. Harry, don't give him any ideas. Harrison, a rock vodka boxcar is needed. Yeah, that could be fun. Harrison, what's under the layout? It's a it's the little table I do all of my unboxings on. Whatever happened to 10 HCW steamer? It's stuck in Gatineau right now. It's still at the same place where they used to store it. But they removed the tracks on the outside, so I don't even know how they're going to get the engine out whenever they decide to do something with it. Who knows? And they're trying to sell the diesel on some government surplus site for 50 grand. I'd be highly surprised if somebody buys it. When you refurbish an engine, you must use 100% real synthetic oil. Otherwise, after a while, you're back to square one with when non-synthetic oil gums up. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it definitely lasts a bit longer. Rod Stewart is a serious model railroader. That's true. Remember in one of James May's series there, he was talking to somebody who had a model railroad, and they're talking about how a lot of people in the music industry, you know, become model railroaders. It was just funny back in the 80s, these bands that, you know, would go and smash up the hotel rooms. Instead, they're sitting there setting up a train set, which is pretty funny. And I think that's actually what they based the character from the Trailer Park Boys, Sebastian Bach, off of. Because, I don't know, he's supposed to be a pretty irresponsible character. And the way he gets into model railroading is actually stealing a train set. Hilarious story. Neil Young had one. Yeah, that's true. I believe one of the main actors from the show House of Cards is a model railroader too. Would you rather drive real trains as a job or fix locomotives as a job? Drive trains. Classic, yeah. I hope they have a train show at some point in Ottawa in the not-so-distant future. I'd love to run this thing there. Just have people from the Ottawa Valley actually see it, you know, people who actually rode on this at some point. What the heck? That's weird. Yo, the Elmer train show is coming up. I didn't know they were doing that. Also, I've heard rumors that the flea market might be coming back. We'll see about that, but either way, March might be a time. Better start saving up. Harrison, does your steam engine know when... sorry, Nathan, I don't quite understand the question. How did you get Nerf Cat? Did he just show up? I love cats just as much as trains. The old Thomas the Tank Engine, they had an episode called Donald Duck. Yeah, I did watch Thomas as a kid. Yeah, Nerf Cat just showed up. We had a neighbor's cat that was stopping by at the time, and then he turned up as well, but he wasn't looking to be in the best health. So my family kind of just started feeding him, so of course he stuck around, and we really liked him. He was a really social cat, and then when he was living outside, but when the weather started to get cold, we were a little bit worried about him, so we brought him in, and he's just kind of been around ever since. Such a good cat, though. He's actually pretty patient too. Like I don't know. One time my younger cousins were over and like they were really getting in his face and stuff. I think most cats would probably be like buzz off, but he was being like super patient, didn't do a single thing, and he doesn't bite or claw you. Like he's pretty good. Well, sometimes he'll give you a little nip, but he won't sink his teeth in ever. He's pretty smart. I don't know why this keeps derailing. It's so strange. Harrison, the model you're running represents the one that you were when you were a kid. Does it have the same steam engine sounds? I want to get it kitted out with its actual sounds, but it's not a sound-equipped locomotive yet, so that's where I want Rajan to step in, as I'm sure he could kit this thing out real nicely. Favorite automobile? Either the 1969 to 1971 Dodge Chargers. Those are pretty wicked. I like those. Toyota Corollas. Those are good too. Most of the GM stuff, you know, like the GTO and the Pontiac Parisians, that kind of stuff. '39 Ford. I was rail fanning in Detroit and saw a Canadian National Veterans Unit. Wow. A '69 Charger and a Corolla. Well, I like them both for different reasons. I mean, the '69 Charger is, well, it's badass. I mean, it's a super cool car, and I like the Corollas. They're underrated, and, you know, they're not terribly exciting cars, I'm not gonna lie, but they're built like tanks. And I tell you, like, some of the best times I ever had, like, my buddy has a Corolla there, and I don't know, just going around shooting the breeze in a Corolla. It's a good experience, you know, it's nice. So yeah, I can't hate on the Rollas. They're good cars. Hell, my dad had a Corolla in 2001. You still see those around. Like, they're indestructible. They last forever. It's crazy. Pete Monster 62, welcome to the live stream. What about a Toyota E86? I mean, it's a nice car, but I think it's kind of just hyped up because of Initial D. I like the Oldsmobiles too. The Regency there, and the 88, like the Delta there. Dodge Charger, Daytona Hemi. I like the kit that has. I've always been a Ford person, but recently my mom purchased a Jeep Wrangler, so I've started to extend my reach. Yeah, I don't know. For whatever reason, my family hasn't really had much to do with Ford, with the exception of a Lincoln Continental back at some point in the '70s. Harrison, if I got what I wanted, I would flip. If I had an entire house, I would fill it up the entire house with trains. And that's the way to do it, Nathan. '68 Mustang, fastbacks. I mean, the Mustangs are really cool. I get why people like them, but honestly, for some reason, the look of the Mustangs has never been my taste. I don't know why. Like, I get they're cool cars. I'm not dissing the Mustangs, but yeah, I don't know. Guess everyone just has different preferences. But yeah, the old square. I like the square cars there. That's why I like the old Pontiac Parisians and cars like that. The Lincoln Town cars are pretty nice too. All the boats from the 70s, those are just the best. They just soak up the road. My grandfather has a Pontiac Bonneville. And that thing is... he actually let me drive it once, and I gotta say, like, it's like driving like an aircraft carrier. Like, you soak up the entire lane. I got a 1985 Lincoln Town car. It looks like the Wakefield train is trying to go down another track. I love the big old cars, yeah. I don't know, it just seems like sedans are really out. Nobody seems to want to own a sedan anymore. It's all trucks and SUVs, and I get it. Like, they're nice. You know, my family has a pickup there and an SUV. They're fine vehicles, but honestly, nothing beats the look of a sedan, in my opinion. Nothing. The sedan seems too small. I don't know. Those yachts from the 70s, I think, contradict that. I prefer Dodge when it comes to cars. My dream car is a 1969 Dodge Charger. Yeah, I don't know. Mopars, I think, were like all the Chrysler products from back in the day. I'm a fan of. Modern Chrysler, not as much, but yeah, those Dodge Chargers. I'm kind of biased though, because my family was all about Dodges back in the day. Plymouth Superbird. Canadian behavior, damn dude, I just want an old Suzuki. The thing will last me a lifetime. Yeah, Suzuki Grand Vitara. Yeah, I find Suzuki is one of those kind of more obscure brands. I don't dislike them though. There's this lady I knew, and she had a Suzuki, and it was from the 90s. Really bizarre looking car, but for some reason, I don't even remember what the situation was, but I had to drive it to the store, and I'm not gonna lie, it was a pretty nifty little car. The seats were like, it felt like a couch. It was actually really nice. Make nice motorcycles, yeah, and their outboards don't look bad too. I mean, I'm pretty happy with my Evinrude, but if I'm gonna get a Japanese outboard, I think I'd probably go for Suzuki. Apparently, they're pretty cheap to maintain. Wakefield train doesn't seem to want to start. What the heck? Huh, doesn't seem like either of them want to start now. Maybe it's a sign. Harrison, would you prefer a 50s car or a modern Mustang? The 50s car. I wonder if the bridge is bowing because the weight on the track is making the train derail. It's not impossible, although I was pretty sure I reinforced that bridge. Let me double check here. Yeah, the bridge shouldn't bend because you see I reinforced it. It looks horrible, but yeah, because the bridge was doing some funny stuff before I added that. Old Porsche 911 or a new Supra? The Porsche. Yeah, my uncle and his partner actually just bought an old Porsche 911. It looks pretty sweet. Manual transmission, of course. Are any of your switches powered? Yeah, this one. See it? Old cars were pretty easy to work on pre-1985. Well, that's good to know, because I want to start working on a classic car. Well, how about DMC? I don't know too much about DMC other than, you know, that they made the DeLorean, which is a really cool looking car. I like the design, and you know, I get why it's so famous, you know, it was in Back to the Future and everything, but apparently that was not a very good car. It was severely underpowered and not very enjoyable to drive, so yeah, I don't know. Never encountered one, so I can't say. Never been to Canada. What's it like? Well, around this time of the year, it's pretty cold. Everybody loves maple syrup. If you come to Quebec, the best thing to get is probably a poutine, which is like fries with gravy and cheese curds. And if you're in Ottawa, the best thing to get is a beaver tail, which is a piece of dough that they put some cinnamon and sugar, all their good things on. It's pretty rockin'. It's hard to describe Canada in one way, though, because, you know, I was out in BC earlier this year, and I gotta say, like, I go to Maine every summer. I felt more at home in Maine than I did in BC. I felt like I was visiting another country, even though I was still within my own country. It was a weird thing. It's still really cool, but yeah, I don't know. It's a funny thing. It just shows how different the country is end to end. Don't forget about Tim Hortons. I can't forget about Tim's. I think those exist throughout the United States, or at least in some of the northern parts, though. Do you guys have the same 2 long, 1 short rule in Canada? I think so. only in the northern parts by the border. Nothing here in Florida. They used to have them in Maine, but they left for some reason. The whistle codes are the same in every part of the world. Thank Lord, just before turning everything off, I found an exact picture of the OBB AUT lock, only in the DB library. I can sleep peacefully. Minitrix 12933. Huh. Used to have what in Maine? They used to have Tim Hortons restaurants. Unless that's a joke. Haha. Yeah, apparently the way Tim Hortons left in Maine is they just shut the power off to all their locations, so everybody was just there doing their jobs, serving up some Timbits and everything, and all of a sudden, boop, power out. Sorry guys, that's it. Pretty brutal way to go about things. Can't say I'm thrilled to hear about that. What are we running now? The Wakefield train. SMT, you should do a gaming channel. I had a gaming channel. That's actually how I got started on YouTube. Didn't go very well, and looking back, I can see why. Not that, you know, I'm an expert or anything these days, but the thing is that my gaming videos were not good. What's the channel called? I'd rather not. I don't know. People have found it. I'm sure somebody will post the name in the chat, but it's not something I'm proud of. Do you play instruments? Oh, I used to play piano. That kind of fell by the wayside, unfortunately. Model train repair VR. Oh, that would be cool. About hit 3 hours, everyone. Yeah, 3-hour live stream. I should probably call it a night though, because I said it. I think I said I was gonna finish this live stream at like 11:30, and well, at 11, and it is almost 11:30 now. So it's pretty good one. Gotta say, I didn't expect things to go this late, but oh heck, that's part of the fun. Check the traction tire. I don't think that's the problem. I am a little bit suspicious that gunk has built up on the front wheel and it's causing it to get out of the track, but who knows. Arrow 1, good night. I didn't even know you were in here. You can just do it in real life. Hey SMT, what's your favorite railroad other than Canadian Pacific, CN, and VIA? BNSF. Okay, let's see if we can actually catch the train jumping off the track this time. Of course, it probably won't do it since we're watching. Oh, yeah, it happened right there. It's the bridge. I think we'll wait till it comes back around on that. I think we'll call it a night. Please run a different train, SMT. Been running this one for so long. I think I better pack it in, honestly. Better get the maintenance train. What time is it in Quebec? It is 11:28. Something went wrong. And it's probably because of that shady switch. Yeah. Yeah, that's bad. All right. Not again. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in this evening. I really did enjoy running the trains and chatting with all of you. And yeah, thanks to everybody for the super chats too. Everyone was just ridiculously generous, so thanks a bunch for that as well. Anyways, I think we'll call it an evening. Have a great night, everyone. Old school Thomas the Tank Engine fades out. That would be a great way to end things. I wish it wasn't copyrighted. Anyway, good night, everyone.